Alright. Alright, we're starting. Okay. Hello guys, and welcome to my stream today. So, like I promised yesterday, I'm gonna have another one of these streams today. And in today's one, we're gonna actually be starting on one of these Pope trees. And it's gonna be one of these three, because basically, since I can't really find enough popes to just make one tree, I'm going to have 3 trees on the same page. So I'm going to start with one of these 3. And I think I'll do this one, which I just added this morning. And that is this one. So we'll do this one. So we'll start here. So let's go over to Innocent the Fourth's page. Okay. Alright, and let's get Innocent the 8th pulled up in here too as well. So looks like everyone's doing well. Okay, so we'll connect Innocent the 8th to here. Oh, whoops. Okay, so we'll pin him, and then we can, if we refresh, we can find his relation right here. So here's, okay, so 7th grade uncle, and then also find the page for Pope Adrian V, who is also an ancestor. And then the other one is Pope Boniface. Basically, it looks like Bonyface. That's what I used to think it was pronounced as, but and someone corrected me on that, and I felt very embarrassed, because who would choose a name like Bonyface? I mean, sounds like a name of a horror movie character, to be honest. But alright, so I guess they all come from the same line. So I guess we'll start with Hugo, also known as Fliscus, which is a pretty unfortunate name if you ask me. Fliscus. Okay. So now we're on his page. Let's see what we should call him. Okay, we'll just call him Hugo Fieschi. Okay. So, no. I'll just take one of these and copy paste it right there. Okay. So, this would be Hugo Fliscus. Okay. Alright, so Hugo Fieschi. I keep calling him Fliscus. It's a fun name. Okay. So here's Hugo Fieschi, and I think that this tree will start in the top right. I mean, I might move it down, because obviously I wanted these to be quantized, you could say, to the most accurate period of time. So obviously, if one of these people have an earlier ancestor, and in fact, I'm pretty sure of it, because I do have Pope Paul I and Stephen II, who are actually brothers, fun fact. One of the few times that's happened. Yeah, that really shows how corrupt it was back then, because a lot of these popes have uncles who actually became pope as well, but many of them do not have any kind of um, pope to be their brother, because obviously popes weren't allowed to really have children, and so they elevated their nephews, obviously their siblings' children. Okay, so okay, I'll just copy another line. So I guess I'll use a different color for each tree, maybe. Because I've been using different colors for each branch of those other trees, but I mean, these trees are kind of small. We'll see how it looks. It's all really bad style in this case. Okay. So now we got Yugo, Fieschi. Okay, actually, I realize, yeah, okay, so there's gonna be siblings in here as well, so I'll copy this, rotate it, and there you go, put it down here. Yeah, be there. It'll be right there. That's the correct position. Okay. Bam. There we go. So, to anyone in the chat, if anyone's watching right now, how are you doing? And hope you guys are all doing well. Obviously, I'm still doing fine. I mean, I just asked you the same question, I guess, just yesterday, but I'm also doing as fine as I was yesterday, you could say. I mean, it's been relatively nice weather around where I've lived, but the last couple of days it's been a little unpleasant, because even though it's May, we're still getting some rain, but that's actually a good thing, because we haven't gotten rain around where I live in probably like a month, or at least a couple weeks, so, brings about a nice freshness in the air, you could say. Okay. So, okay, now we gotta determine age. So, okay, they're both descended from the same person. So actually, I only need two siblings in this case. Yeah, because they're both from Tadisio. Okay. So, whoops. So I'll just make this 25 again. Alright, sweet. So, okay. So we'll actually determine age first. Okay. So who's younger, Tadisio? Okay, 1190. Or Innocent. Okay, 1195. So Tadisio is older. So we'll put Innocent right over here. So let's make this all proportioned. Whoops. Okay. I'll proportion this correctly too. Okay. There we go. It's all nice and dandy. Okay. Don't know why I said that. Okay, so we got Innocent LaForth right there, and then we can put Tadicio right here. Yeah, I'll move him down so he's actually nice and, dare I say it again, proportioned with Innocent. Okay, right in the middle right there. We'll just extend this out to a little less than that. Let's say 48. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Perfect. Alright, and then from him, it's just his kid is Adrian the Fifth. Okay. So it should actually be a relatively small tree, because we're not, first of all, we don't have too many popes in this one, and second of all, we're not going down that very many generations, because, I mean, one of these relationships is an uncle, and nephew one, like I was talking about earlier, and then the other one is a little disputed. I mean, I'll talk about that in a little bit, because it's a little unclear as to the connection between the two. All I know is they come from the same family, which, I mean, is strong enough evidence. They come from the same family, which is, I don't know, I think it's spelled Cybo, and I want to say it's Kubo, but it's probably not. It's like Greek, Greek Romano family. Actually, no, not Romano, from Genoa, also another town in Italy, but Italian Greek um, family. So, uh, okay, I'm a little confused right here. Let's see. Um, okay, I guess it's right there. Right, that makes more sense now. And in that case, that should be a 1.63. Alright. Nope. Should be a 1.62, I guess. Okay. Man, I'm such a nitpicker when it comes to making these things, because I always got to be spot on and accurate with all this stuff. Okay. And of course, this is out of whack in that sense too. Okay. There we go. That should be well proportioned, or maybe not. So it seems. Okay. There we go. Finally, we're able to proportion that right. And I just realized, yeah, I'm gonna have to put another sibling relationship in there. So let's see. So it goes through him. Okay, so it's Niccolo Fieschi. Okay, so he's born 1205. Niccolo was born in 1230. Jeez Louise, that's a big difference, like a 25-year difference. That means this date must be wrong, because that would mean he had him when he was 15, which is a little bit wrong. And okay, well, she doesn't have a birthday, but 15 is way, way, way too young, even for medieval standards. So this date must be more like 1210 or something. Still like a 20-year difference, but yeah. In my family, Um, there's one branch of my family where they had a staggering number of children. It's crazy. They had, I think, 20 or 21 children on this one branch of my family. It was absolutely crazy the number of children they had. I think it was within some like 21-year period or something like that. And actually, no, not 21, 27. I don't know. I'm getting all my facts wrong today, but I mean, they had an incredible number of children, and I mean, some of them actually immigrated out to America, and some of them stayed back there, and actually, surprisingly, my direct descendant from that part was actually not one of the immigrants, because my family is pretty hard to research, let me tell you, because in my family, obviously, because my family comes from Eastern Europe, Ashkenazi Jews, and specifically what's hard about my family is the fact that they all immigrated after 1900, at least all my immediate relatives, I should say. So they all immigrated after 1900, so I can't find really any 1800s records for them, or basically less records. And then the second thing that makes it increasingly hard is the fact that my mom is actually not an American-born citizen, but she came from the Soviet Union, specifically Kharkov, Ukraine, and so she wasn't born here, and obviously her family, therefore, was in Ukraine. I mean, I've been lucky to actually be able to find records on that side of my tree, because for a lot of it, they were all just living back there in Ukraine, and if you haven't been in the genealogy community and have researched about Ukraine, then you won't know about Ukraine's strict policy to actually release genealogy records, but basically they've been having a whole dispute over releasing records to the public over in Ukraine, and I know one person who's really been active in that is a man by the name of Alex Krakovsky, who has been fighting his way to actually getting that sort of ultimate hope, which is that a bunch of genealogy records will be released to the public. And I mean, it's a whole situation back back there. I might actually make a video on it because it's pretty fascinating. But yeah, so that makes it particularly hard to research. But I mean, I've managed to probably. I mean, I don't want to be too big in myself, but there's been quite a few genealogists in the family, in my family, and I think, I mean, at least in terms of records from Europe, I've been able to discover the most. Definitely been able to discover the most from Europe, because most others, they had a pretty good sense of American records, but one side of my tree, for example, that had the last name Mandelbaum, pretty common last name, is they came from a town in Poland called Mizrich, and it was kind of a big settlement. It's much bigger than a lot of the other settlements my family came from, because most of them came from what are called shtetls, which are these basically tiny little towns, either just tiny little specifically Jewish towns, or just designated areas inside of bigger towns, and all the they all lived in those kinds of shtetls. and but Ms. Rich, and they were usually tiny little towns, but Ms. Rich was a little bit bigger than the rest. And I've had a lot of success through the website, which if you watch my genealogy websites, you should visit video. You might recognize that as JRI Poland. I strongly recommend that you use that because it just gives you so many records if your family is Jewish and from Poland. Because I mean, I've been able to trace back just from my great grandma who immigrated out here along with her four sisters, or something like that, and they all came out here, immigrated to Cincinnati, actually, and as well as her parents as well. But and I really didn't have much info to go on about their parents, my great grandparents. But through actually finding lost siblings who actually lived in all places, Denver, Colorado, I was really able to actually find a lot of those relatives who still live back in Mizrich. So I was able to trace that family all the way back to, I want to say, 8th great grandfather, and who would have been born somewhere like the 1700s, maybe even the late 1600s. You never know. But it's amazing what you can do with just a couple discoveries like that. But other than that, I haven't had much success researching my family in Europe. And my great grandfather, who she was married to, his family came from a tiny little shtetl called Motole, which is totally obscure. And fun fact, if you know anything about Chaim Weizmann, the Prime Minister of Israel, he came from that exact town. Fun fact. But I mean, other than that, I haven't found any records from them actually living in Motole, and I've looked everywhere. I've even looked at like databases with families from Motole, and I can't find any records of the Gottliebs, which is my last name. Fun fact. So it's been a struggle, and then my other great grandfather came from another tiny little shtetl called Makarov, which is near Kiev in Ukraine. Motole was in Poland, now is in Belarus, I want to say. But yeah, my other great grandfather came from Makarov in Ukraine, and he immigrated from there when he was young, like pretty young, younger than the rest, because my great grandma and my great grandpa both immigrated when they were like teenagers or young adults, but he immigrated when he was like 5 or something. He came out earliest I think of any of my immediate family members. But he and his parents also came from Makarov, but I found pretty much no records about them at all, and that's mostly attributed to the fact that most records from Makarov have got destroyed, because I think there was like some fire or something that destroyed all records from there, or something during the Holocaust. Yeah, Nazis coming in, maybe destroying records, you never know. But yeah, and then I literally can't find any record from there. And then my other great grandma, she was actually the only one born in the U.S. She was born in Massachusetts, which basically none of the rest of which is completely elsewhere from the rest of my family, because pretty much the rest of my family either settled in Philadelphia or Cincinnati, but her family settled in Boston, Massachusetts, and then eventually Medford. But anyways, so uh, her family, also funnily enough, I've discovered, well, actually, I've confirmed there was a family rumor for a long time that her and my great grandfather both came from the same town, Makarov. And I've actually confirmed that both of their families came from Makarov, and it's kind of funny because I mean they met out when they came to the U.S. and both came from different places. They're probably distant cousins, in fact, because they had pretty much the same last name. So my great grandfather's last name was Levitsky, and her last name was Levitt, which got changed from Levitsky, I've discovered. And so they were most likely cousins. I mean, so that's pretty cool. And then yeah, and then on the other side of my tree, I can go all into depth about that kind of stuff too. But oh, and if you want to check that out, I do have a link on my to my ancestry profile. So if you actually want to check out my genealogy, my lineage, you can go to my YouTube channel page, click on some link, and I have that. So, okay. So here's the part which is going to be actually difficult, I just realized. So, so here's the problem. So we got Innocent the Eighth, right here. He had the same last name, belonged to the same family as Boniface the Ninth, and the problem is I've scoured all over the internet today, and I haven't been able to find any actual physical relationship between each other. His last name was actually Tomacelli, or yeah, it's like Tomacelli or something like that, and that was actually a sub-branch, I believe, of the Kubo or CYBO, however it's pronounced, family, which this guy's part of, and so what I'm guessing is maybe some kind of great uncle or something like that, but I mean, all it is, I mean, I can show you the Wikipedia page, for example. So if you go to papal families, yeah, they have this whole great category right here, but they have a bunch of papal families. You can go right here, and then you can click on this family, Kubo, however you want to pronounce it. I'll just call it that. And then if you go to the Kubo Malaspina, and actually go to the Kubo last name right here, then it shows you notable members, were Boniface the Ninth and Innocent the Eighth. But it doesn't, I can't find anything on the internet that actually says or connection between each other. But I mean, it says right here, the family split in many branches, some living in Genoa or in Naples by the name of Tomacelli. Its most famous members were Boniface the Ninth and Innocent the Eighth. So it's a little unclear. In fact, it's very unclear how the connection between them is. So for now, I'm gonna just put Innocent the Eighth in right here, and if I decide to eventually put in Boniface the Ninth, if I do discover a connection, or if I just wanna maybe just like put him right here, and then in the video I can go and actually just explain that the connection between them is unknown, but they are part of the same family. Okay. So how many generations do you have to go down? Okay, so Innocent the Eighth. So it's his father, grandfather, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. So you have to go 8 generations. Okay, so I'll just copy and paste the arrows. And I totally forgot to put an arrow right there. You win some and you... Well, actually, that's the round clear. You make mistakes sometimes. That's okay. I was gonna say you win some, you lose some, but then I realized that would just make no sense in this context. Okay. So then we can just slap this arrow right there. Get it aligned better. Alright, so alright. I'm gonna see if anyone's watching. Alright, I got one person watching. Hello to that, whoever that one person is. Happens to be watching. First of all, thank you for choosing me to watch over anyone else. It's very much appreciated. And I do hope you're having a good day. I sure am. And thank you for once again choosing me over any of the other options. I mean, I feel actually cool about that because the fact that anyone's choosing me, a tiny little channel, who's literally just started, what, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Yeah. The fact that anyone's choosing me to just watch is, it's really a compliment, man. And or woman, depends on whatever gender's watching. And so thank you for watching, whoever that is. And okay. Okay, so got trees finished for now. Like I said, I'll come back to that later if I want to make some modifications. Okay, I'll do this tree right here. So this is the descended from Charlemagne tree. Okay. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll do this tree. Right here. It should be easy to set up. Because, I mean, obviously each time I have to set up this, but because they're all descended from different people. And so then I have to go to them, and I feel like it might have been too much of a hassle to get all of these specific people in their trees, because I still got a couple more that I need to add. In fact, here's what I'm thinking I might do is, because I want to actually make more popes in these specific trees, so I might want to move someone like Clement the Seventh. Now, the thing is, I kind of forget if Clement the Seventh is a direct descendant from Charlemagne. I guess he is, based on the fact that he's French, and well, there's quite a few French popes that are descended from this. In fact, actually, all of these ones are German, but there's a couple of French ones, I'm sure. So, first of all, let's just load up Stephen the Ninth, and Stephen the Ninth, Gregory the Fifth. Yeah, Gregory the Fifth, and finally Victor the Second. Okay, so all direct descendants, but anti-Pope Clement the Seventh. Okay. Alright. So, is he a direct descendant? We shall see. Because I'd love to have one less in that tree that actually stored out. Okay. Perfect. So we can, because this tree, both of these trees have kind of become tangled messes. And I think it's all better if I put this one in another tree. In fact, if I really want a nice even number of popes going into this, I know Calixtus II is also descended from Charlemagne, so maybe I could do both of them. I'll do Clement VII for now. And decide later if I want to add Calixtus. Because then that would, because I want to make like an equal number of popes for each video. That's kind of my goal here. So I got, because then this would bring the total up to 12, which is a good number, as long as I don't eliminate Boniface in the 9th. And so that's a good number, in my opinion, of popes that I can put on this tree. So we'll let that stand. Okay. Alright, so I'll move them over to this pile right here. So, okay. Okay. So, alright. Alright. I'm stalling out. I promise you I'm okay. I'm just a little exhausted from today. Even though I really didn't do much. I don't know. Sometimes you just get exhausted from sitting at home doing nothing, you know? Okay. Charlemagne. Alright. So... Okay. Yeah, man, I'm really just zoning out right now. Also, because I'm sitting at my chair, which is one of the most uncomfortable gosh darn things that I've ever had the pleasure to sit on in my life. Actually, it wouldn't be the pleasure to the unfortunacy, if that's even a word, to sit on. God, makes your back hurt so much, and I'm not old at all. I'm not old at all, I promise you. And yet, this literally, if I sit on this long enough, I'm gonna develop arthritis in the back, and yeah, it's not gonna be good. Because you have to sit over in this hunched position. It's not exactly the best to lean back, because then you're too far away like this, and then you can't exactly hear me so effectively, or, well, wrong word right there, so well. Okay, so from Charlemagne, okay, so we got all of these descendants. So, okay, let's kind of categorize these into different ones. That's how I accomplish. So, Louis the First the Pious. So these guys are all Louis the First. And Bruno is from Pepin, Carloman, king of Italy. Okay. So this one, so we're gonna have to give him 2 children. And okay, so let's categorize these. So then Louis is gonna have to have multiple children. One of them being Giselle and the other one being Charles the Bald. Okay, and then these are for the same line until Kunigunda, where it splits and then goes to Luitgard of Trevis and Gozalo von Bidgau. Man, I'm embarrassed that I'm pronouncing these so bad. And I know I'm pronouncing them bad. I mean, their European names are not even remotely as difficult as the ones in places like Africa. Look, those are the parts where I really struggled. That was a bad experience. Okay. Alright, so let's give him 2 children before I'll move this out of the way. Actually, we'll just delete this for now. So, nuts. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. To any of you watching, I know last stream yesterday I told an embarrassing story, one about me throwing up in 4th grade after watching a disgusting video. If you actually have an account and can actually chat, like say something in the chat, you want to hear an embarrassing story? Another one? Nope. Crickets. Okay. Okay. See, I feel a little embarrassed doing this to an empty audience. But I mean, I've had experience with that. Oh, I just thought of my embarrassing story. Well, it's not exactly a story, it's just more of like a thing I used to do. So, back when I was, a lot younger, um, I used to, before I had this channel and everything, I mean, well, way before I had this channel, um, I used to always pretend that I was, I guess, like a commentator or a YouTuber, whatever you want to call it, and, so I always, used to pretend. So I remember I was in the shower, and I always used to just talk, whatever, and pretend I was making videos, or, I used to be really into drawing stuff. I was a pretty good artist, and, I always used to, pretend I was recording an art video or something like that. I don't know. And I don't know. I'm like that kind of person who just talks to themselves a lot. And despite that, you'd think I'd get a lot of training in the art of actually talking, but no, not at all. Because I still consider myself extremely awkward talker. I've always been kind of a introvert and not too many friends, but I haven't been much of a talker either. And that makes me awkward in that sense, but I don't know why I didn't become at least a half decent orator of words. Yeah, there's something. The other thing I used to do, and I actually still do, it's I don't know why it happens, but I like to, whenever I look into a mirror or something like that, or like for example a video camera or something like that, or a camera or something like that, I always just like to make funny faces. Don't ask me why, because I honestly don't know. I just and I still do it, which worst of all. And it's I don't know why, but I just like to make faces in the mirror, and it still amuses me to this day, even though I'm not like a little kid anymore. Okay. Okay, so there are some embarrassing stories. It's really up there. Okay, so Pepin. What's his name in quotes? Oh, that's his nickname. Okay, so he's Carloman. So what can I talk? What would be the actual um good title for us to use on here? He just goes Pepin Carloman. Okay. I'll look at Charlemagne. Oh, I guess Charlemagne technically is. It is really, technically Carloman. Okay, he's king of the Lombards. Okay, so I'll just say Pepin, king of Italy. And then Louis the First. And quotes of the pious. Okay. Okay, cool. So then from Pepin. It actually literally should be all of just taking an arrow down to Gregory the Fifth. Okay. I have a feeling this tree is gonna be at the bottom of the page. Okay. Okay. Pepin, king of the Italies. I don't know why it's doing some weird glitch. You guys probably can't see it. I realized when I was recording that video about my announcements, that I was looking at all these menus, that you guys couldn't see, and so I was just talking about the menus or something. A little embarrassing. Okay, so from Carloman. So it's daughter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So 6th grade grandson. Oh, I just realized I could have counted that rather easily had I known that, had I taken into account that that Pepin was Charlemagne's son. Oh well. It saved me all but 10 seconds of time. So not too much to fret about. Okay. Okay, perfect. So okay. So we'll change this to 6th grade grandson, and there we go. So perfecto and collecto. Okay, so then we get down to Gregory the Fifth. Don't know why I just talk like that. Whatever. Okay, let's get this all aligned. Okay. Alright, so we're I have no clue what to say. I'm just sitting here in utter silence. I mean, in a way, if you think about it, this is almost like talking to a blank audience, because I'm not getting that kind of audience interaction that most streams have. I mean, not to be mean or anything, but no one's really no one's really watching at all. I mean, I still got one concurrent viewer, but no one's really interacting. I don't know, but I feel like it will happen someday. Hopefully, if I gain a decent enough following that a couple people show up and I can actually chat with them, that'd be cool. Because like I said last stream, it's hard to really know what the heck to talk about if you just have an empty audience like I have right now. But if you have an audience with people who are actually asking you questions or just conversing and everything, or dare I say it, giving donations. I'm not going to beg for those. That'd just be nice, because that'd be good to actually say, because obviously this is not a full-time commitment for me. This is not a full-time commitment, but to say that I can actually get some revenue off of this would be just kind of cool. Not gonna beg for it though. Okay, so I think I'm gonna add his 2 children, and then I think we're gonna stop for today. So, because I'm kind of running out of juice. It's actually almost time for me to eat dinner. Who knows? It might be actually a lot later for you guys. You never know. So, okay. So we had 2 children. Might have to spread this out more. Now, actually, I know what I can talk about. I can talk projects in the future or something. So, in terms of projects that I want to pursue in the future, well, remember how I did that Family Tree of Blackadder, one of my favorite TV shows? Well, I kind of want to make another fictional family tree, because I actually did start a playlist called Fictional Family Trees, and I was planning to do a lot more of them. And I tried to research some new ones, but I can't find any that haven't already been done. I tried to do one of The Simpsons, for example, but I mean, I couldn't find a good reliable source for that, and that's mostly because they had one thing, which is what they say in the actual TV show, and then they had the other thing, which is they had a couple special edition books where they have family trees in it, and they contradict themselves. Isn't that the bane of every TV show? Just contradiction. Definitely is, in my opinion, because so many TV shows have some kind of history like that, and then they immediately contradict it with other information in either a new episode or a new episode or or just another merchandise another thing like that. So yeah, and then that got me thinking, what can I actually do? And then I thought, well, I could actually do for example, a family tree of one of the most beloved video game characters, Donkey Kong, and you might see that coming out in the future. And then the other thing is, well, yeah, last week I was streaming for that. What if the English monarchs were ultimogeniture? I've ultimately decided to give up on the English monarchs of ultimogeniture because I just found a lack of evidence for that. It gets hard when you're trying to trace family trees like that, just not with royals, but with totally random strangers, like that. I mean, it gets hard in those senses, and I decided to stop that. But you might see the one about the absolute monarchy, because that one was good, and I got some interesting results from that. So might see that coming out too. And then the other thing is completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so I was thinking about that. I mean, this could be a while from now, but I was thinking of maybe making another series that is just like this, with the popes, but instead I would do it with presidents of the U.S., and I thought that could be an interesting pursuit and try to connect all of the presidents into one family tree, because obviously I made that video, my second video on this channel, all about the family tree, not family tree. God, I'm really losing energy. All about presidential cousins, and so I was thinking, well, maybe I can turn that into a little documentary series, because I love documentaries, I love watching them, and I want to give my attempt at making them. Who knows? Who knows if anyone will watch them? It'll be cool for me. Okay, so I think I'm gonna finish the stream now. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you to anyone who tuned in today. It will be greatly appreciated. And I think this particular stream I'll keep public, so anyone else can watch this, just so they can get a little preview of my Pope family tree. But anyways, that's all. That's all, folks, as Warner Brothers say. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys for another video, hopefully in a couple days, and see y'all later. Good